All right, good morning, everyone. We are live on YouTube. Today is Wednesday, October 29th. So obviously we've got some high impact news here this morning. We've got oil inventory at 9:30 a.m. Central Time, and then we've got the big kahuna FOMC at 1 p.m. And I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on my many years of trading through FOMC, what I've pretty much compiled with my journal entries, and how I kind of approach the day. So we'll get into that a little bit. We'll see here if there's any setups here coming up. 3 minutes into the market open. All right, good morning, Bay Ridge, Payne B, Krypton, Top Step Randy, volatility incoming. Well, we've had a ton of it the last couple of days, that's for damn sure. Joe, good morning. PWA, service looks delayed. I'm not sure, PWA, what you're talking about with the delayed. On the signal service, the signals come in as I see setups. So there's no... The last signal that I gave was yesterday. So as of right now, there's no... that's the most current signal we got. So if you're looking for something different, send me a DM through Discord. Romina, good morning. Random Barbarian, good morning. Spence, good morning. All right, let's see what we got here on the... let's start off with the NQ. We got a pocket right here. This is kind of interesting right here. Could be an area of stops. Let's see what the 26-173s are looking like this morning. Oh, no. Not bad. All right, 173s aren't looking too bad. Let's see what this would look like. Now, the only issue with this little setup, again, could be this little stop run here. All right, so I identified a small little area here at the 26-174, targeting the 182 and the 185s. My only concern on this guy is going to be the stops sitting here at the 26-165 region. So what I'd like to see is what obviously happens when we get a little closer down to price action. That's the first setup I see here this morning on the NQ. And then it looks like we got a pocket sitting right here. This looks like it might have already tapped into it, though. So it looks to be kind of interesting as well. All right, so we got two setups identified here on the NQ right now. Closest to price action would be the 26,174, targeting the 182 and then the 185s as TP2. Stop sitting around the 165, and then we've got it's kind of a crappy TP1 though. Well, that's what I see. 26,111 targeting the 26,115 and the 119. This looks at the kind of a really small target on the TP, but that's what I currently see. Now let's take a look at the ES. Yes, currently it's got a little pocket sitting right here. As you can see it on the volume profile there. Unfortunately, with this one also, we're kind of looking at the same thing. It's TP1 is just terribly small. Barely 2 points. I know. Looks like a kind of a crappy setup here. 69.14, targeting the 16 and then the 18. Big stop for just a tiny little target, but that's unfortunately what I see in volume right now, which is a little unfortunate. But decent setup there as far as some unbalanced pockets right here. In general, I like to stay extremely patient on every day, but on FOMC day, you got to stay even more patient. The closer we get to rate statement or rate decision, you're going to be finding the order book starting to thin out. There's a lot of jockeying for position prior to that report coming out, and things can get a little bit funky even with volume. So you just got to be, I'm not going to trade any different today. I'm going to be looking for as close to A++ setups as I possibly can. And if I sit on my hands the entire day, I'm perfectly fine with that as well. I'm not going to trade. I'm not going to try to trade any different. Let's see below that. Below this, we've got still that setup from Monday at the 68.71. Nice day trading yesterday, up 2,400 yesterday, so that kind of made up for that that ugly IB high trade that I took a loss on Tuesday, which I got knocked out by a tick. So bounced back really nicely yesterday. I'm pretty happy about that. Anna, good morning. Can you share with me your volume profile settings in NinjaTrader? Yeah, so what I'm using on my volume profile is, it's an action indicator through chart spots. And it is the volume or the composite volume profile. I believe they charge 59 bucks for it. Obviously NinjaTrader's got a volume profile built in as well if you've got that volume add-on. And as far as my settings on my higher time frame, like the 15 and 1 hour, I sit at a 120-day range, and then on the lower time frame, the 1 and the 5, I'm at a 45-day. So this is the indicator right here. This guy. 59 bucks. I think you could try it for, well, you could try it free for 2 weeks. So that's kind of nice. So throw it on there, throw it on your chart and see if you like it. I like it. It works very nicely for me. And again, it just works. All right, let's see. Yeah, it could very possibly be a no trade day, and I would not be that's the benefit you get out of journaling the shit out of your entries, especially your losers. I actually care more about my losers than my winners. And the theme is just constantly recurring. You know, I will put in through my notes, going back maybe 3 years, not through TradeZilla. TradeZilla is only maybe about, I don't even know what kind of, 8 months, maybe even less than 8 months. But prior to that, in my journaling, going back almost 3 years, it just seemed like the theme was the same. Just took some pretty nasty losses on FOMC day. Back when I started trading, I would actually be trading the actual report, which that's a tough proposition, in my opinion. Like literally at the release, I was trading, and that was just, when you're doing that with a cash account, it's not the smartest thing in the world. I remember back then when I first started, I think I was with TradeStation, and the margin requirements during FOMC were so high that even with $7,000, I don't even know if I could trade a micro at that time. It was so crazy on the margin requirements. So again, I mean, you spend a little time journaling. And then trust me, it's not fun doing it on the losing days. Journaling your winning days those are pretty easy. But knowing that you've got to journal some bad entries or some bad attributes of the trade is never fun. Never fun. I finally clocked my first red day for October on Monday. Yeah, I did actually the same thing, Fluky, for GC as well. So Myra's saying that the resolution's not looking great. Let me know if everybody's seeing a bad resolution on my screen. Looks the same to me, at least from what I can kind of see on my preview here. All right, cool. Morning, Key. So we need the ES to make a move here. I honestly don't care if it's to the upside or to the downside. We need some kind of movement out of this little cluster right here. That's the only way we start seeing clues on when you're a volume trader, at least. And the order book looks a little thin too. Let's expand this out. So the 69.55s looks like an area that they're interested in. They're gonna have some resistance. Well, they got probably some stops sitting at the 50s. That's gonna be the most immediate interest to them is going to be the 50s and the 55s. And to the downside, the 35s, which is right down here. That's a pretty nice wall that they've kind of created here. What is the short? What's the short key for that? Stupid. Control FL. All right. So the NQ right above it, you got the 200 stacked up pretty well, and then the 310s are extremely stacked. I'm sorry, the 26 300s and the 310s. I think I might have said 200s. So we should see a pretty good absorption right here. So the 310s, which is a very big stop loss area, obviously. These are good lessons from yesterday. Put these in red. See if I can do it. Yeah. Okay. Red will mean stop loss. Big stop loss area. Very, very difficult to trade. But they got to get through the 300s. Right here. They got to get the 300s is going to be a nice little fight. Big absorption by buyers there. Let's see if they make the push for the 310s here. And then where can they dump it? Oh, the 250s right here. Well, that's where they can close this auction out at. 26 250s. So they did absorb a lot right there. Let's see what how they want to distribute that. Now, if they do push, if they make a real strong push and they, we get a big absorption candle here, let's say like up to like the 320s, then all of this starts to look a little bit more interesting to me to possibly spot a setup. But they've got to take this out. Good. Book is thin as thin can be above the 310s. They've got some sprinkles at the 320s, 325s, but it looks very thin up here. That's funny. The volume sits exactly perfectly in IB, initial IB high and low. That's crazy. It's funny how this shit works all the time. All right, let's see here. Okay. So they pumped in some more liquidity into the 330s. Just to me, they've got to dump this off somewhere. $250s look very enticing for them. Very, very enticing on the NQ. So they've balanced out this entire area. What I thought they would do. Now, my thought process would be is that they would close out their auction down here at the 26 250s. But like I said, there's a new pocket that now is sitting right at the 300s. I just don't know if they have the muster for that. They could. This is impressive. Why now? Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's just the MO of FOMC day for sure. Now, granted, you could make your trades within the range. I think the setups become a lot more difficult throughout the day. This obviously is not a stop loss area anymore. Color, what do we have here? I don't know if that's right. It is right. Let's look at this area down here. So we got a little bit of time. 273s. That's aggressive. We got to be careful here just because we don't want to get stuck in this sweep now to the 26 250s. They've done enough of their business where they can now probably close out a lot of their auction here at the 250s. So mapping this one out here, but we don't want to definitely get caught in a falling knife into liquidity. Be extremely careful here. Remember what my general thesis was here. They conduct their business at the, I think it was what, the 20s and the 30s, and they dump it right off at the 250s. Seems like the most logical thing for them to do. So just be very, very careful here. Entry is at the 26.273, targeting 281 and then 287. It's a pretty tight stop too. Morning, Nate. Key, that was, this setup came out of this big pump right here. Level, I believe, was on the 1 minute. So 75's defended. So we should see a little reaction here at the 75s. We might just get a little tap into the 73s and hopefully take a quick TP1 and TP2. But this is the, in my opinion, this is their eye on the prize right down here, the 26 250s. All right, you got a footprint confirmation there. Didn't tap into our entry here, but let's see. Here's the tap. No confirmation. Dang it. Had my entry, but went a little slow for me. Let's see here. Yeah, TP1 looks good. It's getting a little nutty there. Got a little nutty there. So we just barely balanced out TP1 there. I guess you could make a case for saying it was balanced out, but we could make a run here. Let's go. Nicely done. TP1, TP2. Boom shakalaka. TP1, TP2. Let's go. Good job, Randy. Random. Thank you, Crypto. Let's go. Let's go down to the 1 minute. This is going to probably... Come on. I don't know what. This is taking forever. You got it, Spence. You got it, Nancy. Good job, Steve. Let's go chart. Let me show you the footprint confirmation. We might have had two decent ones there. This is my entry confirmation right here. Red footprint candle, negative 32 delta. So, geez, that took forever. This scares me, but all right. Let me just take a screenshot of this guy. And then let me take a screenshot of my footprint confirmation. Boom. Balanced out TP1, TP2. Now remember, like I said, their big eye on the prize right now is at 26,250. They got IB low, initial IB low in between it right now, but nice trade. Nice trade. Thanks, Nate. Steve, futures, I'm on the 20 range on the NQ, and I'm on the 4 range on the ES. All right, let's take off this. Let's clean up the charts here a little bit. That was an actual very simple trade in the respect as that, as far as my journal entry on those, it's going to be pretty much all positive. Got a beautiful footprint confirmation. Very little drawdown. I don't know. Maybe did I go into drawdown? Maybe a few points. And very clear unbalanced TP1, which is what I saw. So all in all, very high confidence trade for me. What was my entry price? Let's see. Target. Excuse me. So entry was at 26,275. And again, I mean, I've stated this many times, but again, the easiest way to trade the setups is a resting limit order targeting TP1. That'll always be your easiest way to do it. But again, it's not financial advice. So you guys do what you guys need to do. All right, I'll be right back, guys. There, and I'm back. Let's see if we can sync up journal here. All right, so quick little recap. Took a nice trade there, TP1, TP2 on the NQ. As far as other setups that I'm looking at, I think we identified one down here on the NQ, 26,174, targeting the 182s and the 185s. The stop at the 26,165. And on the ES, we just got like a, this is, what do we call this guy? It's a microscope. TP1 doesn't look very sexy at the 69.16. It's definitely an area that needs to get balanced out. But what's the target there? It's less than 2 points. 2 points, $100 times 700. Not the worst. I just don't like having that much risk out for 2 points. But we'll see. Maybe we get a good footprint confirmation. There's always that. All right, let's see if this worked. Air. You dummy. So I pulled in successfully from one of my accounts, but not the other. Let's see if we can get it. There was an error. Invalid credentials. Get it. Don't get it. Top Step Randy. So, they is the only ones that actually move the market. So they could be several giant people or giant institutions or whatever you guys want to, whatever term people want to use. But they have to conduct auction. They have to conduct an auction in an area that gives them the liquidity to do business. And then once they pick up that liquidity, they obviously have to displace it somewhere. And typically they're looking for big pockets where they can displace that auction and close it out. So, and it's just pretty much what the market does. That's why you see all this crap on your charts. Are you still using the previous day's volume nodes to create your levels? So are you talking about the levels that I post each morning on is that what you're talking about? The levels that I post on Discord? So my levels on Discord, just let me pull it up here. If I can find my disc, there you are. Oops, levels. Pop this up here. So every morning for the last over the last 2 years, I post my levels. So this is yesterday's levels. So these levels are not levels based on volume. Okay, these are just my 15 and 5-minute levels. I do post where there is good chunks of volume with the red and green backgrounded shaded boxes. But those levels are just strictly my 15-minute and my 5-minute levels. Then, in my opinion, the easiest way... Let me see if I can find the ES. Let me look at the ES for today. Keep pulling up the NQ. All right. Whoa. That's a little aggressive. Again, the easiest way for me, if I was going to be trading strictly the levels, which I want to do for you guys one day, I think that would be a very fun session. But if you were just to trade the levels almost blindly, the best success rate that you're going to have is popping up the volume profile, making and finding the levels that correspond nicely with the volume profile. Now remember, I give you these levels at about 7:30 in the morning, so about an hour before the market opens. There's levels being formed after that, so I mean you have to keep mapping those. Find levels that correspond nicely on the volume profile. I've got videos that show you what I'm looking for in the volume profile. And then if you can combine that with, let me pop this one over down here. If you can combine that with this, or this, I should say, right here, the footprint get a footprint confirmation off those levels. You could trade extremely well in this. You could trade extremely well that way. That right there is the easiest roadmap to. If you don't want to watch me, if you don't want to see the stream, you don't want to see my setups, you want to just do this completely on your own, that's exactly what I would do. Nothing different. So the NQ is pretty much in the halfway of initial balance here. It's in its fair value zone. Good amount of stops sitting at the 300, so that'll give it some temporary unbalanced volume, unpredictable volume, but unbalanced. So they left a pocket up here at the 330s, and then they've got this big area right underneath the IB low that has got some good amount of volume sitting there as well. I think somebody was giving me a question. Rob, for your session P&L says 890. That's over 7 accounts. So 2 cash accounts, 5 funded accounts. And the accounts, my cash, my Rob Live main was up $145 on that trade. Rob Live second was up $125. And then all of the fundeds were at 125 and one at 120. I would say if you dollar cost average all of the, I would say maybe 120, 127 per account ish. Do you use Trade Syncer? I know that sounds familiar, but Is that a trade copier, or is that a journaling software? I don't know. It sounds familiar, but I don't use it. It's a tough question to answer, Top Step Randy, because it really depends on the market, on how the market's moving. I'd say probably on average 5 to 10. There's an error. And I'm getting really frustrated with this TradeZilla, though. My syncing is... syncing while right after the trade is pretty terrible. Let me throw this up on the screen here. So it's only connecting to one of my Ninja Cash accounts. It's giving me an error on the other one. I try to log in to reconnect but it's still not, it's still giving me an error. It'll do it eventually by the end of the day, but it kind of sucks. So I don't know what's going on here. No idea. All right, it's about this main guy on there. How do you keep all of your trades off one account? How do you keep all of your trades off one account? Oh, yeah, no, so I use a trade copier. I use a trade copier by Affordable Indicators. So my leader account is my Rob Live main. And then that Rob Live main trades to Rob Live secondary, and then to the 5 funded accounts, 3 through Funding Ticks, 1 through Tradeify, and then 1 through Take Profit Pro. Okay. That's what I've been saying, Top Step Randy. Trade one signal with 2 or 3 micros and you've paid it for the entire month, but oh, this is getting kind of boring. All right, Q&A session. Let's go. Drop some questions at me. Trading, non-trading. Nice little move there. Nice little pop. Good absorption there by buyers. So IB high right now is a pretty good line in the sand. I mean, there's some good volume stacking up right there. Right at the 325s. Yeah, Key, it's definitely a Bears fan. They've made it challenging to be one. I don't know, I'm just not convinced with Caleb yet. He has times of brilliance on his throws, and then he has a lot of times of very little accuracy. And that scares me a bit. He's a magician in the pocket, which for us was needed previous couple of years, but our O-line seems to be doing their job, I would say. Running back's good. Defense is fantastic. QB is the only question mark we got. Oh. Spencer, we talked about that sometime last week on stream, and our trading, the way we get to our trades are very different. But I am now, I understand 100% why he is putting a lot more emphasis on the previous day open, the close, current day high, overnight open, because those levels typically correspond with a good amount of volume. So in that respect, I understand now why he's putting a lot of emphasis on those levels. But just trading EMAs and moving averages, if you want to use it for trend, if you need that just to follow trend, great. But to take trades just off of a line, eventually you're going to find you're tapping into that line at a level of volume and your trade could work. But I learned a lot of trading psychology from him actually early in my days. So I value that. We're just talking about, so Randy, we're just talking about that, me and my wife yesterday. I don't even like using that word, but it's a reality. And to answer your question, I guess, no, I don't really look at it that way. It's, I guess I'm pretty basic in my thought process there. It's, you got a bucket and you've got multiple streams that are filling up that bucket. and you hope by the end of the year you've got enough in that bucket to pay what you've got to pay to the government. Which I can tell you is not fun. But it would be worse to have them upset at you. So I'm happy paying it. Oh boy. We're pretty much stuck in this range of midway through IB. $310, $315, this area right here. Big pocket. This is kind of intermediate pockets. Jeffrey, how did I learn my volume strategy? That's an awesome question. So for me, it started off, I'm not going to go through my entire journey. I know that's been well documented on my YouTube videos, but so I picked up I created these 3 mechanical strategies that I traded probably for the last 2.5 years. And I was never really a good discretionary trader on the ES or the NQ. Just never, I could never figure it out, to be honest with you. So the mechanical strategy started to help me because, it was very rule-based, at the particular time in the market that I would take trades, exact type of setups, my TPs, stop losses, everything was predetermined. And I traded like that for a good amount of time successfully. I should say not in the red, which is where I found myself previous to that. And then I started noticing, I'm a big student of the charts. And when I say, I know a lot of people say it, but I am on the charts a ridiculous amount. And I love it. It's not, to me, it's, I absolutely love that, looking at them and seeing things. And I would notice certain things. And I would notice levels like this right here. Again, maybe not on the 1 minute, but so that level right there, I would see, you've got a big move to the upside. And for some reason, I didn't know at the time, there was a reason why the market would hit the brakes and then reverse to the other side. So we kind of do this U pattern. And I pretty much, that's how I started to come up with my levels on the 5 and the 15 minute, is I would find these exact areas on the 5 and the 15 minute. And I then started trading just the levels. In fact, what I was looking for was if I had let's say a 5-minute level right here at the 26,319, and I had a 5-minute level that also corresponded, let's just say right there at the 36,322, I would use this as my entry, and then I would put my stop a little bit behind the 15-minute level. And then I would target, I don't know, I think maybe it was more of a fixed risk to reward at that point. Or I would target another level. That's what it was. I would target another level like on the 5-minute or 15-minute. And I started trading that. And I started trading it pretty damn successfully. And I started to kind of get a rhythm that I could see where we would have these reactions. And then it wasn't until I popped up the volume profile and I started analyzing. That's why I say it's extremely important to journal your entries. You know, you will learn from them. And, you know, once I put the volume profile on there, I started to see that the setups that corresponded well on the volume profile. I know the volume profile right now is pretty weak. Let's see, find a juicy spot here. I guess like right here. You know, I would see that the levels in those that corresponded well with the volume profile, those setups were working even better. And, you know, that's when I started to incorporate the volume profile into it. And then footprints and the book map, the level 2 data, those all were just, I think I had the book map and footprint on my charts for 3 months on one chart off to the left that I didn't even use. I was looking at it, but I could never figure out how I could actually use it. And then again, through journaling, I kept seeing a repeatable pattern that I kept seeing in the footprint confirmation. So that's kind of the story on how I started getting into volume. I don't look at currency pairs. I've actually never in my life traded them. I've never traded Forex. I take that back. I think I put $1,000 into Forex 15 years ago, and I lost it in the first day. Traded on Sim beautifully, beautifully. And the second I put real money in it, I'm like, this is not right. But that was way before I even started trading or anything. I mean, it was just, I think there was a buddy that was doing it. So what is it? Jeffrey, composite volume profile. Just type in chartspots.com and you'll find the indicator right there. What's the IB high and low? Nice. So that is what we call the initial balance of the market. It's the first hour of the from the market open. So for me, I'm in Central Time, so that would be 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Central Time. And my strategy on the IB is pretty simple. I use my footprint confirmation on the IBs. So I'm waiting for, in the case of the NQ here, for it to tap into my IB low and get a footprint confirmation to take it to the upside. Woo-wee. So it tapped into that. That's exactly what I told you guys. Tap right into it, the 26,250s. Beautiful. Well, not beautiful if you had a resting limit order there. But nothing on the footprint. Oh, wow, wow. That was a good one right there. Shit, I didn't even see that one. I was talking. Dang it. I wouldn't be surprised if you get your 15 points, that's for sure. Actually, let me see what's below us. This looks like a juicy trade to me, to be honest with you. I'm about 20 minutes from Buffalo Grove. I do a lot of business in Buffalo Grove, though. Yeah, that was a nice footprint confirmation. I would have got you your 15 points already. Dang it. I was not... That's the hard part, man, is I'm trying to look at a bunch of different things at one time, but... That was a blast, huh? Told you this is the pocket that they needed. So everything that they did right here, they displaced right here. And the market just keeps doing it, doing it, doing it. Let's see on a resting limit order. Let's see if that would have been the play. Ruler. Damn, I really saw that one well. I saw that one really well. 11 points. Yeah, 15 points. Told you. That would have been a winner chicken dinner. I retired and moved to Arizona. Nice. Yeah, my father-in-law's out in Arizona. He's in Surprise. He loves it. I tried to get him to move back down here to Chicago, but he's like, hell no. He loves it. Yeah, footprint confirmation. It's a little hard for me just because this is not how I this is not how I trade normally. I mean, my computer upstairs, this footprint confirmation is on the entire screen. But to make this work on screen for you guys, I've got this showing only about 5 candles. So I kind of put myself at a disadvantage, but this was a great footprint confirmation right there. Let's see. You know, on the initial push to the downside on that sweep, I mean, there's nobody that's quick enough to but that right there was your, I don't think it ever tapped back in. Nope, that was perfect. And I said it too. I said it. That was a great footprint confirmation. I said it somewhere right here when I actually saw it. So that would have been a nice winner too. But it's okay. Yeah, Morgan, that's kind of already been done. Excellent call on the 26, yeah. Just, again, it's just very repeatable what the market wants to do every day. I'm in Arizona City. Dang, I don't know. Tell me where that's near. Because I've never heard of Arizona City. Forgive me, but tell me what it's near, so I can kind of get my bearings. Do a lot of golf in Arizona. I actually think it's the best state for golf. You know, people say Florida's got great golf. Yeah, if you're in a country club, but as far as public courses in Florida, there's a lot better. There's a lot better. I think we have better in Chicago. But Arizona's got some awesome Casa Grande, Arizona. Okay. Galena. Nice. Frequent. Actually, Remax does our... They do like our franchise, our yearly... I don't even know what you call it. Get together with all the broker owners. And that's always in Galena. Key 39, how come you don't use the profile from Ninja Trader 8? Have you seen the profile from Ninja Trader 8? I don't know. To me, it's a disaster. It's just not. Doesn't anchor very well. I don't know. I just don't like it. We'll say I'm not upset that I missed this one. I'm not upset. As much as I do like money, I'm not terribly upset. Especially on a day like today with FOMC. I'm okay with where I'm at. All right, let's do I guess we can get rid of this guy. That was gone. This is still up here now, so this is in play. This would be a great FOMC move. Right back to the 330s. The lowest, we got the 26,174 on the NQ, targeting the 26,182 to the 185. And on the ES, we're looking at a very small setup. So they took out both of these pockets. I get rid of that. Tiny little setup. I'm sorry for it, but this is what I see on the volume profile and what I see on unbalanced volume here. An entry off the 69.14, targeting the 69.16 and the 18 with a stop at the 69.10. And then a setup that we had from, I believe, Monday. A long at the 68.71, targeting the 74s. This setup looks very intriguing at this point. But we got a ways to go. With that, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. And yay, I was able to finally get my TradeZilla to zinc up. So this is what it looks like with both cash counts for today. And primary was up 140 and secondary was up 120 on that trade. All right, so I got that done. Pretty happy about that. And then I think I saw a question here. Any thoughts on gold setups before you end the stream? Well, unfortunately, I've got one chart up for gold. That's just showing me just how it's trading. I do not have all my volume tools and everything like that on gold right now down here. I have it upstairs, but I don't have it down here. Excuse me. But I will add it. I will add it for the future stream because I know a lot of people are trading gold. My issue is I always got issues. But my issue right now is that I don't have real estate for a footprint confirmation. Maybe I could figure that out. Add another one. It's funny how you go through so many damn monitors so quickly. 7 monitors and talking about real estate. Well, lack of real estate. But yeah, I'll figure something out on gold. Randy, that sounds like an absolute perfect way to spend a day. Trade for a couple hours and golf. And yes, that is the plan. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it for the day. Up nicely for the day, 890. I think I could have done a little bit better with that IB play. That played out pretty perfectly. But for an FOMC day, I'm happy being in the green for sure. So if you haven't, make sure to like the stream. Forgot to say that earlier, but that helps me out tremendously, guys. It's the only thing I really ask from you guys. If you guys can just drop a like on the stream, it takes a second to do. And again, if you're looking to get funded or take out some evals, just use code TraderRob on any of the affiliates that I've got listed up on the screen. That does help the channel a little bit. Had fun with you guys here this morning. A little light on the setups, but again, on a day like FOMC, patience is absolutely key. And we'll be back at it tomorrow at 8:30. Try to make some money for the end of this week. Like to end October off nicely. So thanks, everybody. 700 today. Nice job, Randy. You got it. All right, take care.